Hang on, guys. Let me get my guitar right here. There we go.
Watch out with that thing.
Another crab season is drawing to a close. I mean a restaurant, not Manchester hose. So make the most of this crab claw known as life. Sometimes you need a mallet and a knife. I'm scared of what J-O stands for, but that is okay. The old place only steamed with Old Bay.
Okay, well, Randy, you started off with another musical number. Tell us what happened.
Oh, that was great. Well, I got on the guitar, and Sherry was on the violin, and you were swaying. That's what happened.
Well,
oh,
no.
You mean why we wrote the song? We composed the musical piece was because Captain Bob's has closed, a Carroll County staple for seafood crabs. People have told me Captain Bob's has the best crabs in Carroll County.
Had.
Oof.
Past tense.
They just retired, though. It's not like...
Right. It wasn't a bad thing, I guess. But people in Eldersburg were telling me that Captain Bob's.
Well, I guess we'll break one claw for Captain Bob's and...
Was Bob actually a captain?
I don't know. You know, he might have been honorary, like captain of the ship of that restaurant.
Yeah.
You know, maybe he was first mate. Who knows? We didn't know much about it closing it because I did a little research. I went on the page, and the page had not indicated that there was an imminent shutdown. It was just sort of like business as usual. And then it's like, we think we're done. So there's a crab market waiting to be exploited. Donuts and crabs. Well, I guess there's crazy crab
and
now.
brick oven pizza, don't forget.
Brick oven pizza, that's true. But that's like more of a Randy thing. But if you get all the Randys there with their IPAs and crab.
It's part of the Bizarro World Randy starter pack.
Oh, okay. Well, no, that Randy would have a gas grill, drink IPAs, and be
Vegetarian.
Vegetarian.
Vegan.
Yes. Yeah. Vegan and yes.
Oh, man. And that Randy would actually have 2 dads instead of 0.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Ouch.
Dennis with the
Dennis.
knife today.
God.
I found my dagger that I lost.
I've been waiting this whole time behind his back with it. All right, so do you have any other musical accompaniment, or can we move all these instruments out of here?
Well, my crew is getting the instruments out.
Okay. Well.
Thanks, guys.
So I guess we'll start on. Eldersburg has been being about buses. They love kids. They actually managed to stop 6 lanes of traffic for a school bus.
It looks like there was a big to-do about...
Was that Route 26?
I don't know. I didn't read the full story.
Oh, okay.
But somebody was giving a bunch of kudos to people that all 4 lanes of the road stopped for an oncoming bus.
Which is what should happen.
Yeah. Did you ever hear that Chris Rock bit where he said he doesn't understand how some guys brag about never having gone to jail when you're never supposed to go to jail in the first place?
Right.
This is kind of the same thing. We really shouldn't be bragging about that.
Well, I mean, it's enough of an issue because Carroll hates kids. It's nice to see some of... Well, it took like 3 brave people to stop. Like the people in the lanes that weren't the bus all had to... The first in line had to stop. Because once the first person stops, everyone else is kind of stuck stopping.
Yeah. Now, I got a question. I was coming down 27, and I stopped for the bus, as you're supposed to.
Pin a rose on your nose.
Yeah, well, I was all...
Kudos.
I was bragging about it. But then the bus started moving forward, and it kept its light and stop sign up. I mean, do I go in reverse? What happens there?
It's like a force field, and if that force field hits you, your car just immolates.
Yeah, I didn't want that. But luckily, right at the last second, the stop sign folded in.
I don't think you're supposed to throw it in reverse. That seems like it would be a different danger on a normal road.
Well, then, so the bus was putting me in danger. We got a reversal of fortune here.
Yeah, I guess. And then, where was this story that was this morning about a bus strobe light early?
Somebody was complaining that they were behind a bus, and it was kind of like dark. It was very early, and I think foggy.
Right, so they have a strobe light on top of buses.
She didn't want to go clubbing this morning,
But it gave her a headache.
Oh, boy. Well, I think
that's something to complain about right there.
I mean, I think that's just how buses roll.
Kinda.
They're transporting children I guess they can be afforded a extra layer of protection because they can't be bothered to wear seatbelts.
I just don't think complaining on Facebook is going to change.
No, it's really
The whole
not
climate.
gonna change that at all.
I love the logic of seatbelts. Like, buses are big, so whatever.
The kids will bounce around. They'll be fine. Padded seats.
It's like, yeah, we're gonna have part-time people drive children without seatbelts. It's just gonna make it like a little shake weight of children just smashing into each other.
Yeah, when buses crash, though, it's either like all or nothing. Like they either get hit by a car that doesn't even affect it, or the thing goes off a cliff.
Right.
So either
or
way,
It's
or
no
a
seat-
bridge.
no seatbelts.
In all the movies, it's
Yes.
off a bridge.
right?
All
and
the
a
children drown.
a superhero has to like move
Yeah.
it back onto the thing.
Yeah, bus full of children.
But then Eldersburg still hates kids too, Randy. Why?
Because they're getting hunted in the woods, I believe. Was that the story you're referring
Ooh,
to?
the most dangerous game.
Yeah, somebody was screaming that kids should need to stay out of the woods because it's hunting season. I guess it depends on what you're hunting for. What if it's kid hunting season?
Well, I think it's probably bow hunting
Car-
season for deer, but
In Carroll County, that could be the case.
just put your orange vest on and you're fine.
Why would you hunt a bow? You can just go to Walmart and buy one, Dennis. God.
Well, maybe not for long,
Yes.
since it won't sell ammo anymore. But wait, do you hate kids if you're telling them to stay out the woods to not get hunted? Don't you like kids then?
But she's telling the other people who hate kids. She's saying there are people out there who hate you and have guns in the woods. Stay out of the woods.
It's like evidence of the fact that it's kid hunting season.
I think so, yes. I think it's very clear.
Open season in Eldersburg on wooded children. Okay.
And human children.
Well, I guess player beware. Don't frolic too carelessly in the woods in your childhood.
Mm-hmm.
So then, Randy, I feel like this story is really going to resonate with Sherri. It's going to make her mad. This wasn't her Sherri complaint story, though.
You circled it
I just circled it right now.
on your paper.
What is going on with Karen v. Karen? This is like the modern spy v. spy.
Yeah, I think I do want to really hear Sherri's input on this. So it's this woman posted, and I'm confused about this whole
This
thing.
is in Westminster?
Yes, it was. And a woman posted that the cats were not being housed safely, and they weren't being treated very nicely at Petsmart
Okay.
in Westminster.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. Then
Did she post any evidence, or is she just grumpy?
she just posted
Pictures?
She didn't really post evidence. I think there were a couple of pictures, but then another Karen came in and posted video explaining that the cats are okay, that there was a separate room for their litter box and a separate room for their food, and they were being taken care of. And while she was videoing this thing, an employee came over and asked her what she was doing, and she's like, "Excuse me, I'm trying to prove a point on Facebook. Excuse me."
She really said that?
Something like that, yeah.
So you're more likely to...
I didn't listen to the full story.
I was going to say, did you watch the full content?
No, I
Maybe
did
that's
not.
the way to get you
But then
engaged.
the original Karen came back and said that they got a statement from PetSmart saying they were going to look into it and take care of it, like it was a victory. So I really don't know who was right.
Karen was right.
Karen was definitely right. I think the cats are all okay, and it's important to note
They were kittens or cats? Because cats take them or leave them. Kittens?
There were
got it.
kittens involved.
Ooh, now oh boy, can't.
were
No, that's.
kittens
Oof,
involved.
I'm fully invested.
And the second Karen swooped in to kind of prove that the first Karen was wrong, and she had a running commentary from her young son who was with her. It was a pretty interesting clash of the Karens, because I'm not sure now if the first Karen was correct or if she complained enough that they actually rectified.
Wasn't there a
situation.
time? Wasn't there a time that passed between the two
I
incidences?
believe there was a couple of hours. So
Enough.
hours. So somebody got out of their seat, drove to PetSmart
Well,
to video.
you know, people are passionate about pets.
Kittens, not cats.
That was some nice alliteration.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have. I mean, you know what?
Would you
Last week,
would you put on your Karen hat in that situation?
I don't have a Karen hat.
Okay.
I don't have a may I speak to the manager haircut. I don't. That's
But we all advocate speaking to managers.
well, no, we all do, but not in
Social media.
not in social media and not in a toned sort of way.
Did she speak to the manager before posting on Facebook?
I don't know. But, well, wait a minute. It's not a local business.
Well, we're always sort of flip-flopping on whether or not national business with a local location is a local. Is it afforded the same courtesy?
No. I don't think we're flipping on that at all. No, they're not afforded the same courtesy because...
So you can just go straight to the social media with
I
that?
think so because they don't care what local people think.
I think it's because if you speak to a manager of a locally owned business, like a Birdie's Pub, or I'm sorry, Birdie's.
Oh.
If you speak to a manager at a local business,
He is spending a lot of time in Island Green, isn't he?
Oh my
like Birdie's
God.
Coffee House, I corrected it. Then that person is usually the owner and can make some unilateral decisions. If you speak to a manager,
Or they are like affiliated with the owner.
yeah,
The owner's not in their ivory tower.
they can text the
napping.
owner. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. So
Yeah.
Ivory Tower.
how much power does the manager have of a store to make something right is kind of limited.
Yeah, I mean, we just have our kitten cruelty policy and we're stuck with it. So, I guess Karen won.
The kittens won, I guess.
Oh yeah, that's true. Again, this is
Not cats.
No, again, yeah, cats are a dime a dozen. Kittens, there's a half-life on a kitten. It stops being a kitten after some point, and then. So that story just fascinates me because it's like all the things I love about this stuff, which is just like the snake eating its own tail on social media, where it's like one person is doing this for a crusade or attention or to save something or whatever, we don't know, and then the next person's like, au contraire, Mahatma, like this is gonna go differently, and
Sherry.
they do their own thing, and it's like there's literally no sorting it out at this point.
Sherry, what percentage of people are doing it for a crusade versus doing it for attention?
Can't that be the same thing? Those aren't exclusive.
They aren't mutually exclusive. 100% of people who post on social media are doing it for attention.
There you go.
100%.
I mean, by definition, I think Sherry's right. If you don't want something to be known, you just don't say anything about it. The only thing would be is if you've been posted about on social media and you have to respond.
So that's not you posting, yeah.
But it is at some point you like, if like let's say you're in the like customer service meltdown situation and you have to like do something because there's this bashing thread. That is at some point you are posting something. That would be like the only scenario where you're not doing it necessarily.
I find the person and contact them personally. I don't respond to social media bashing.
Really?
No.
Interesting. Have you ever had that cause someone to like a reversal on social media?
Yes.
It's interesting.
Yes, I have.
The like the common nugget of wisdom, and Randy, you are more your field than mine, is like, oh, you're supposed to like acknowledge these things on like review sites, not social media.
I do not do that.
Interesting. I don't deal with reviews in the same volume you do, so you're the expert in my mind.
I do it cathartically on my own, and I think I've shared
Yes.
with all of you.
You have like your Dear Diary.
Yes, exactly.
responses.
Yeah, like the things that I would actually like to say.
Well, once since you're only, I guess, at 40 or 50 years when you retire from Birdies and Randy writes a song about you, then you can like let them all out. You can do it.
I'll publish a book of my responses.
You really, really should. And it would not be hard to put that on Amazon as like a Kindle or something like that. Self-publish it.
I think I should.
And stories about the cafe.
I've got a
The
treasure trove.
cafe,
The cafe, yes.
Birdie's Cafe.
There's too many bird places around here.
We do have an avian
I was
affinity here.
I was the first.
You were the first.
Just to mark, I was the first. I'm
You
not
were?
sure why Island Green needed to name their
Well-
pub Birdie. I understand the reference. Of
there's
course.
like 6 clever golf
Of
things
course.
that
it
they
could
all,
be the 19th hole, for God's
the
sake.
Could have been
19th hole,
Eagles.
birdies, eagles around
yeah.
the turn,
Yeah.
like all those.
Dogleg Pub. I mean, come on.
Eagles might have been a problem for Ravens fans, though.
The sand trap.
The sand trap. That's
Oh,
lovely.
that's good. Get stuck at the sand trap.
There was a couple of bars in Miami.
Water hazard.
There were a couple of bars in Miami that when I first got there, they like kept sand on the floor of their bar. It was called Sandbar, and I think that lasted like, it had been an institutional thing, but I think that lasted like a week into my stay there, because at some points it was like, this is a horrible idea. Like, why have we been doing this?
Wasn't there a bar around here that just encouraged you to throw your peanut shells on the floor too?
Texas Roadhouse?
I thought I was thinking of a bar. Do people do that at Texas
It
Roadhouse?
may have been Lone Star, but
Yeah.
Texas Roadhouse, they're good with that.
They just let you throw used peanut shells on the floor?
Used and new peanut shells on the floor, yes.
Okay.
You can just throw peanuts at people.
Does someone
If you
just
want.
clean that up every night?
Yeah.
or-
Nah, it's
Periodically.
just like
It's just
You got to
crunchy.
swim
it's
through
just,
it.
it's just like a layer. You just like a little crunch layer. It absorbs all of like the gristle and fat rolling off the clientele. This helps.
Delicious.
Not in my backyard, Sykesville. Hobie Wolf.
The Hobie Wolf property.
Yeah, you knew Mr. Hobie Wolf?
Yeah, and I forgot what his stance was. This was like back in like 1998, 99. We were in a...
So you were like 15?
Something
10?
like that, yeah.
Okay.
He raised me. He was a great guy, but he was real big on landowners' rights.
Uh-huh.
And I think he was being pressured to sell it, but he didn't want to because he wanted to keep it. I think I'm remembering that right.
This is in Sykesville.
Anyone can feel free to correct me if they want, but this was a long time ago. And now it's being sold, but he passed, like 9 years ago, so he has no control. He personally has no control over that now. Unless
So it's being developed.
Yeah, it looks like it's being developed into a lot of different properties. And somebody mentioned a low-income apartment complex.
I mean, people say that as a buzzword. It doesn't mean anything. Like, if you charge under what a mortgage is in an area, does that make you a low-income apartment?
Right.
I mean, like, it's federal housing subsidies don't make any distinction about where your house is. They just give you money. Like, you can rent a house, you can rent whatever. So it's dense. People are against dense development in general, and they are particularly against this project, I guess. Is that the story? Not in my backyard.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, my favorite comments in that group are like the people who like it's like they basically were Snake Plissken and they just escaped New York or LA, whichever one of those you liked, and they just got to Carroll County and they're like, hold up, I'm the one who shut the door behind me. No new houses. Like that to me is like the best, because it's like, well, we don't live in a zero growth economy or country. We could if we wanted to make like trillions of dollars of structural changes, right? But we don't. And I'm not saying we should. So in light of that, like, people are going to build stuff.
But
And if you really care, you should have just bought the property yourself and kept it a field and made whatever, $30 an acre in land rents or whatever it is, because you don't make any money renting your land out to be farmed.
somebody started asking for things to be put there, like the mall. Somebody said, how about a Costco? Something like that.
That's my best, like the
gosh.
when the people from the cheap seats are like, hey, the mall could really do well as a Costco. It's like, yeah, but it's the mall and you don't own it.
Right. And they just, hey, how about this? And then
How about we turn your house into a stable? What do you think about that? Oh, you don't want to? Well, good news, you own it.
Right.
These people own it, and landowners' rights. If they want to develop it, whoever owns it, they can develop it.
Yep.
It's real easy when you live 4 miles away and you're a rancher and you have a house that's worth a couple $100,000 to say they shouldn't develop when they just got offered $15 million for a piece of land that's making them nothing.
Yeah, and
It's like, what do you want?
the worst case of NIMBY I can remember hearing was somebody, a council person in Westminster, told me that they had a really good plan to put in turf fields in
Oh no.
City Park.
What are you going to give up? You give up North Carroll artificial field that's so goddamn important to people? No. Uh-huh.
And the residents that lived along that street, I think it's Willis,
Yeah.
did not want it.
Well, Willis Street's always complaining about everything.
But why would a turf
Right?
field make anybody upset or
They're
worry
very
anybody?
vocal about their likes and dislikes. Yes.
I mean, they've had that they had different plans to do something other than just houses before, and they're always complaining, and they want their stuff to stay where it is. I don't blame them, but that's
What could the complaints be? It's kids' sports.
all of
Traffic.
downtown Westminster, the entirety of downtown Westminster is a historic district. So there are certain things that we can and cannot do within, rules of whatever it means to be a part of a historic district.
Sure.
So,
Turf
I mean,
fields.
if turf fields are not probably going to be a part of that.
if only we had $125,000 more towards them.
Maybe in Hampstead.
If only someone hadn't spent $125,000 plus.
Well, speaking of that, what was it that you saw today about two idiots and $125,000?
This story will not die. It's
the Frankenstein.
over.
you
It's
know what? People
over.
love their guns and their prayers.
God, it's over.
Frankenstein.
Pray for this story. I think the Carroll County Times has posted a story every single day
There's interest
about this.
They're pot stir. They're
Yeah.
stirring the
I wouldn't know
pot.
anything about stirring a pot.
This is the story about the commissioners deciding to not pray in the beginning of a meeting.
Which they haven't done. This entire group of commissioners has never done.
Well, they got sued for it, and they lost. And they caved, rather.
The previous group of commissioners held open prayer, all of which are no longer commissioners. Like
Okay,
an open sectarian prayer or whatever that is. Then there was a lawsuit about it. And subsequent commissioner groups never engaged in that, and they opted to settle it for $125,000.
Okay, but it's over. Even the commissioners have said, we're moving on. It's over.
Well, the state delegates like came running into rabble-rouse and say that they thought that it was premature.
Damn rabble-rousers.
So do we know who actually filed the lawsuit?
Sure, it's public. They're quoted in some of the stories.
Oh, are they? Are they just individual?
Yeah, they're two individuals, and then a humanist group basically took it like with unsure of how they were going to get paid. And then what happened is a lot of times in these civil rights cases, the settlement is paying the lawyers' fees and then whatever, ceasing the quote unconstitutional action as well. So the lawyers got paid for bringing the suit. The commissioners agreed to stop the activity that brought the suit, and away we go.
So this wasn't a money-making venture for the people who brought this lawsuit on. Likely.
No, this is attorney's fees.
Right. Okay. So because one of the comments that the lady made this morning, and I use that term loosely.
The one that said to the two idiots?
Yes.
Karen.
What Karen said this morning was, I hope you give that money to charity, but I think we need to make it clear that those people probably didn't actually see a dime of that money.
Exactly.
No.
That's not why this happened. That's not what goes on.
It's possible that a adjudication could have seen them get money. I don't know. I never read the pleadings, right? They could have said there's a damages issue that we are due or whatever, right? But the settlement was attorney's fees.
Okay. Well, I think that's fair then.
I mean, look, the commissioners have looked at their balance sheet and they say, do we want to sock away $1 million for a rainy day to fight this thing and maybe win? And the only reason that they would really do that, in my opinion, and this is my cynical opinion, is if one of them wanted to vault into like the next level of politics, right? If they wanted to carry that flag to the Supreme Court and then get on all the national news channels, even in a loss,
and end up in the Senate or
whatever,
Congress,
then it makes that.
Yeah, sure.
But I don't think, and I say this about virtually every commissioner, I think all these commissioners are genuinely serving because they care, whether you agree with them or not. I just don't think it's in general been a position where people are, have these like Machiavellian aspirations for something else. Now, some of them have moved on to other political positions, but I just don't think that's the origin of being a commissioner here in Carroll County because it's pretty thankless. There's no direct path to something other than sort of local politics.
I think that's probably true. Yes, I agree with that.
But that doesn't mean I have to agree with them on everything. I'd be insane to agree with some person on absolutely everything,
No.
So
I don't agree with many of them on anything.
Let's move on to something fun.
this was really fun, Randy. Civic engagement is
Stupid
fun.
story that won't die.
Franken story. So you want to make it cynical with Sherri.
Yes. We haven't done this in a long time.
I don't even know what the story is.
Well, that's why
really?
This is going to be a snap
You shouldn't.
reaction.
Yeah.
No, I don't, because I tried to click on the link and it wouldn't take me to the actual story. It only just took me to...
She even said that on Slack. And
I did. You ignored me. It's okay.
I didn't see that.
He's the one who shared it. I actually saw it because I like that business. So I actually knew about it before Randy.
Oh, this is about a business? Okay.
Kind of.
Kind of. Yes.
All right, well, lay it on me. Let's go.
Want to make an attempt?
I'll make an attempt. So
Okay.
I'm making something that's generally positive.
Yes.
Yes.
Cynical.
Yes.
One of the
I think you'll find some gold in this.
Oh, I'm sure I will.
One of the nursing homes in town, which is my opinion, probably the best nursing home in town, did something where they did activities with their residents, which is nice. And they not just a nursing home, they're assisted living, and they did a slip and slide with them where they like put them in, what was it?
It was a giant inflatable duck.
Yeah. And they like put them on a slip and slide, and like they didn't like put them down a hill. They had like other staff people like run them along the slip and
With
slide.
ropes.
With ropes.
Yeah. So they gave him a little
Give
thrill.
him a little summer fun to close out the summer.
So let me get this straight. They took senior citizens, old people who are essentially in hospice and nursing care,
well, they could be assisted living.
and stuck them in a gigantic rubber ducky and did a slip and slide
Yeah.
outside.
Isn't that wonderful?
Yeah, it's just some good-natured fun.
That sounds like a lawsuit waiting to happen to me.
Done. You
Dear
really-
God, I mean, like,
You signed a waiver. You
Were
signed a
the
waiver.
people? Were the people
He's a
strapped?
lawyer.
Were the people strapped in?
No, they were not.
I don't know. I didn't really.
Were they capable of keeping themselves inside of said rubber ducky?
There were handles on the side.
Were they capable of grasping?
I do not
Yeah,
know. I
but
didn't do a strength assessment.
This did not look like your kid's slip and slide where people were like flying down that thing.
Were the old people forced into the rubber ducky and terrified for their lives?
Gunpoint, yes.
I don't think so.
That just sounds like a really bad idea.
Some summer fun. Just because you're a senior citizen doesn't mean you don't enjoy the outdoors.
Your skin's like paper at that point, you know.
Oh my gosh.
Your bones are little bird bones. I mean,
Sherrieotypes.
all you need is just one little tumble and your hips broken.
The aged.
You did it.
The aged and male population.
I
Watch
don't
out.
know.
You got some Sherrieotypes
I
going
don't know.
on.
We need to bring this segment back.
I think that's a really bad idea.
Okay, so you're anti-fun. I've got it.
I am a fun sucker. It's been said about me before. Yes, I will take the fun out of any situation.
Interesting turn of phrase.
That in itself is fun.
It can be.
It's my form of amusement.
It can be. So this is something that was, I think, a bigger meme that made its way into the local community groups based on school having started. And Randy, this is the thing you really love.
Oof, yes, I do. I know exactly what we're going to talk about.
So talk
The
about
school drop-off line
it. Yes.
and pickup line.
Right.
If you're picking up or dropping off your kids,
Be efficient about it.
Oh, whoa.
Damn.
Randy doesn't swear that much. You seem.
be mission critical,
Yes.
be militant, be efficient, systematic.
This is a utilitarian thing. This is not a time for you to have a 10-minute conversation with your kid about have a nice day and I love you.
Right.
Putting the
and
books
pump
in
them
the
up.
book bag.
You know what? That's the whole ride to school was for that mission.
Yes.
The night before was for that.
Yeah. Make sure your shit's in your book bag and get out of the car as fast as possible.
So,
You know what kills me at Winter's Mill?
oh no.
These kids who nonchalantly walk across the drop-off line. Like, they're not in any hurry to get anywhere either.
They're just teenagers that like sullen.
They're just, walk with purpose, for God's sake. I have somewhere to be. My kid has somewhere to be. Get the hell out of my way.
Yeah.
I got coffee to make.
Yeah. There's
Sorry, Randy. You were supposed to talk about that, but it
No, you did it.
irritates the hell out of me, too.
You spoke. You were my mouthpiece. You spoke for me.
so this is at my daughter's preschool has it, and I'm a little more forgiving at preschool because you can just have a kid in a car seat who's like, nope, this isn't happening, right?
Well, that's a whole different story.
But
Middle school and up, no excuses.
right, but there's a whole different mixed age. But there was some like the first week, it's like even though they talk about it so much to the point where I'm like, this isn't rocket science, but even so, like I was there and there was a car that had to be cajoled and persuaded to go up to the starting point of the line. They just sort of wanted to like stop where they were and let their precious bundle of cargo out, even though it's like clearly marked cone, clearly everyone pointing, like you get to the start of the line so we can unload as many kids as possible.
There's a procedure
And it's not a difficult one either.
for a reason.
It's not difficult either.
Yes.
It's very simple, but it's just amazing. And then we got an email that said, "Oh, by the way, don't pass people in the drop-off line." I'm like, "What animal is trying to like? What are you doing? This isn't like a Mad Max. This isn't like Mad Max daycare. You just get in line and drop it off." It is like the simplest, easiest thing in the world, especially at the school that my daughter's at, because the teachers come to the car and extract the child. So it's even simpler than
like that.
normal.
You don't have to get out of the car.
No.
Extract the child.
Yeah, extraction and keep in mind for the I'm sympathetic for the teachers because they have to probably deal with 30 to 50 different types of car seats. So every morning's a new car seat lesson for them, right? But they still do it, and it's great. And probably 3 weeks in, it's going to be primo. But right now, there's a lot of people who don't get it.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are irritated with back to school stuff. That's why we're hearing so much about buses.
Oh, yeah,
and
people-
just
Yeah.
it's a shake up in everybody's routine. Everybody calm the hell down. It's going to be fine.
Traffic is worse.
And if you're slow and inefficient and have no social self-awareness when you're in the drop-off line, know that everyone hates you.
Everyone.
Even people not in the line hate you.
Have you ever, like, okay, here, let me ask, this is like a very strange hypothetical. Have you ever, like, hated a car in drop-off line and, like, had a similar routine so you know this car is, like, an enemy? Like, this is a car.
Like if I see that car,
yeah, you're like, this
I know
car.
how to deal with it.
Have you ever had a pattern where you like, this car stinks at drop-off? Like, you're like,
Sure.
so you know there's people that are bad. Mm-hmm. Have you ever then attributed the owner of the car to the bad dropper-offer? Like, have you ever been like, that's the bad drop-off family? Have you ever, like, connected those dots?
Sure.
When I see the car, of course. Yes.
Okay. Has it ever changed your, like, have you ever known those people in other contexts and it's changed your opinion of them? Like, been like, this is a bad, no. Okay. That's because you never knew them, or
Have
because
you had this experience?
No, I
Dennis?
haven't. I'm just
okay.
curious
No.
about it.
Didn't know 'em.
Didn't know them. Okay.
I don't care who those people are. I don't want to know
They're
them
no
outside
longer
of the
people to
drop-off
you.
line. No, they don't exist.
The hatred and rage is so blinding that
Yes.
you don't really remember
I
details
could
about
never.
the person.
I could never know that person outside of drop-off line. Never.
What if you did though? What would happen to you? Would you just brain explode from cognitive dissonance?
I might stab them.
Right. Like if you were to ask me who was the bad person in drop-off line, what kind of car were they driving, what color was the kid's backpack, I wouldn't know. All I saw was a blinding red light of
Oh no, I know.
horror.
I know exactly who the bad people are.
You know the bad people.
Right, because you're sinister and you make a note. I'm just explosive.
I mean, you
although I
never-
don't do it very often.
You never know when the opportunity for revenge will rear its ugly head. So.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
I learned something on the
Fast
show.
forward. Prosecutors Exhibit A.
There you go.
Okay, so now we have a top 10 list. A top 10 list that was brainstormed in record time. I walk away from my desk to actually do work, and I come back, and you guys have 50,000 ideas for this top 10
We have a
list.
top 50,000.
So
Randy and I are very good.
I'm expecting hot fire, Sherry.
hot fire.
As opposed to what other kind of fire?
Cold fire.
Well, I'm not quite sure I have 10 though. I mean, like I have more than 10, but I'm not quite sure I have it numbered correctly. So bear with me for a second here. All right, so this list is going to be the top 10 reasons that you will hear gunfire in Carroll County.
Okay.
Hard to narrow it down to 10.
I mean, it was very difficult. I think Randy and I actually came up with 25 or so, but
I mean, I didn't even read them all. I was like, I'll be surprised.
they're good. So, number 10, the Francis Scott Key High School Class of '89 reunion.
Ooh.
Good reason to hear gunfire. Number 9, someone forced Randy to eat a vegetable. That was really sad. There's a lot of gunfire involved with that. Number 8, someone's getting hitched. A true shotgun wedding. Number 7, someone's water bill was a little too high this quarter.
That's more of a vehicular thing. Come
Yeah,
on.
well, we thought
That's when it's really high.
there might be room for gunfire too. Number 6, they're all out of $8 cheese at the Walmart. That's a problem for some people. Number 5, Down Under is closed for repairs. That's a good reason to hear gunfire.
Or it's open.
Or it's open, yeah. Either one. Number 4, there's a disagreement over prayers at the commissioners' meeting.
Oh, boy.
Number 3, it's a day that ends in Bud Light. Number 2, Karen wasn't allowed to speak to the manager. Gunfire at the Petsmart. And the number 1 reason to hear gunfire in Carroll County, all the charges were dropped against the Tawnytown police chief. Little celebration.
Little party.
Yeah,
You know,
he
a lot
pulled
of
that one out.
A lot of this gunfire actually did take place in Tawnytown, if you think about it. I mean, Key and
Yeah, southern Carroll County is rough.
Southern Carroll County is
Southerners.
not where you want to be at all.
The Dorn of Carroll County. Okay. All right. I'm Dennis Twig.
I'm Randy Goldstein.
See you later. Oh, no.
Fuck you. I'm Sherri Hosfeld Joseph.
All right, say it again.
I'm Sherri Hosfeld Joseph. You can keep the fuck you.
See you later.